we're going to talk about the new player experience in the 2.0 update for Honkai Star Rail. So naturally you're going to want to increase your Trailblaze level. That's what determines your level cap, which content you're allowed to clear. You can see that you unlock with your equilibrium level, which, as we can see here, Trailblaze level reaches 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 65. You can complete the corresponding trial of equilibrium before further increasing your Trailblaze level. You'll still accumulate XP during this time. All of them are somewhat considerable jumps in difficulty, I'd say, except for the 21. That one's nothing changes, so make sure you're prepared going in. Make sure you're spending your Trailblaze fuel on traces and ascension for your characters. Handy dandy, you can just click on and it'll guide you right to them. You're going to want to prioritize on accumulating Trailblaze EXP to get that equilibrium level up to allow you to farm more efficiently. As long as you're at least equilibrium level 3, you'll get the equivalent of 160 free Trailblaze power per week only for the simulated universe, which is useful because you're going to need to farm various orbs and ropes from the ornaments. You unlock that relatively soon into the story. You'll still have to clear worlds 1 and 2 before you do unlock it, but make sure you're hitting up the simulated universe. They all give you pretty decent Trailblaze EXP rewards for doing so. The next best thing to look at for your Trailblaze EXP, you'll want to be generally clearing out all the quests as they come in. Various missions, clearing out Trailblaze and Continuance first and foremost, as lots of quests are gated behind that. There's going to be companion missions. I don't have any right now, but they're purple and they are usually pretty quick and give you relatively high rewards. Following that, you're going to want to check in here. Pretty much all of these can be completed for at least some amount of Trailblaze EXP along with the current one. We also have a character selector tied to that. You've probably seen these shops. You get some rewards for that in the form of jade crystals, character EXP, and some light cone EXP, along with a couple of wishes, free 4-star light cone. But what I would really recommend in terms of prioritizing is make sure you get to Penacony as the unique currency that you spend there. It's not going to show because I have maxed it out, but you do actually get Trailblaze EXP directly for contributing the same currency that you get from Penacony quests, which isn't true of the other 3 main areas that we have so far. You'll also want to make sure that in addition to clearing out the shops in the various areas like these ones, that you're completing these situation battle missions that pop up. There's 1 to 2 in every area. If you have any indicators like this on your map, these are puzzles that can be done by speaking to an NPC, and you'll be able to repeat them over the course of several days. As you complete them, you'll be rewarded with larger chests that also give a decent amount of crystals and some Trailblaze EXP. You can usually do these 3 times per day until they're gone. Some of them are 3 days long, some take 4, so you want to make sure you're grabbing those and doing them as quickly as possible. Also, when you do get to the Xian Shao Lofu, I'm not entirely sure when it unlocks, but here in Cloudford, there's an NPC merchant you can talk to here. He sells these things and these things. These are refreshed weekly. These, I don't actually know if these are worth it. They'll be in this tab. Yeah, I'd say skip on the blue ones. Those refresh daily. But you can buy these every week, and these will give you, if I'm recalling correctly, the materials you need to level up traces and to enhance light cone. Just credits, and it's not that expensive. You'll also want to make sure that you're heading over here to the Trailblaze profile, and you want to set your support characters to just whatever most build characters you have, because you do get credit reward when people use your support character. So if you got a decent 5-star, make sure you slap them up in that tab. This is for show. You can put whoever you want here, so make a line of your waifus. You can use your friend support units to clear any of the calyxes, these stagnant shadows, Caverns of Corrosion, or Echoes of War, which means you don't really got to worry all that much about if you're a little underpowered relative to the difficulty that you're trying to clear it at. You'll also want to be setting your assignments, these 3 every day, and whatever random material you think you might need. These 3 are all locked and gated behind your Trailblaze power that you have a limited amount of every day. And the biggest reason that you want to be pushing that Trailblazer level early on is because that's what determines these weekly rewards from Simulated Universe. Prior to Equilibrium level 3, you don't get these, which is losing out on the equivalent of Trailblazer power every week. And of course, secondary to that would be these boss fights, these Echoes of War. These materials are needed to unlock certain traces and level up your skills, talents, basic attacks, and ultimates. You only get 3 of these a week, and it's not until you reach Equilibrium level 4 that you start getting 3 per boss slay. Prior to that, the most you can get is 2. Just these external traces need 3, and then you need 3 more per the talent, ultimate, and skill. You're going to want to rush through as much of story as you can get through and reach Penacony before this event disappears. You have 35 days at the time of recording this. This will give you a character selector of the options. There will be Guinefin, Yukong, and Sampo. Now, who you're chasing from there is totally variable. If I had to give a recommendation, I'd place Yukong above the other ones just because she's a support unit who really only unlocks her true potential at E6. That's where she sees the biggest jump, so every Eidolon you can get for her without pulling is a pretty big advantage, whereas Sampo's a pretty mediocre DOT exclusive DPS. Logui has a little more usage than that, but she's still pretty niche. And then there is Asta. Like Yukong doesn't get particularly strong until E6. As it stands, I would personally rate her below Yukong since she's pretty much just used for her speed buff. This is pretty hard to stack, especially before E6, and while the speed can be nice, you do have to charge her rather expensive ultimate for it. Only lasts 2 turns. This isn't drastically dissimilar from Yukong, who has very similar issues with uptime, but Yukong's buffs are pretty massive, so I'd hold on and try and get Yukong E6 as naturally as possible, since you don't know when she's going to be on rate up. She won't be on the next banner. So out of those, I'd recommend Yukong. You do get 1 free for clearing the story, and that just adds to that. Same with Herta. That's why you want to be clearing that Simulated Universe. The first 4 worlds will give you 1 copy of Herta for free, so you'll be able to get her E4 for free. She's a pretty great unit, slots into pretty much any team. Even if she's not the best pick, she works really great as a sub DPS, especially if you're stuck early game and all you have is the free doctor ratio that you get for logging in or creating an account from 2.0 up till 2.1. Since he's exclusively single target and most of Herta's kit covers the entire enemy field. Part of that is why I recommend investing in Herta early on. Once you get to the Xian Chao Lofu, you can challenge the Pure Fiction, which if you're able to clear at least 2 stages, you don't even have to get any stars on them. You get Lynx for free, and Lynx is going to be one of your best healers. Before that, you're stuck with Natasha, who's questionable to say the least. Now if you're lucky enough to pull Bailu's pretty good. She's still outshone by even E0 Lynx with no copies, simply because she has no ability to cleanse. So if your allies get frozen, if your allies get stunned, concussed, they have DOT on them, Bailu can't do nothing about it. They just have to sit there and they have to take it. Lynx, she can remove one of those things. Aside from that, I think the only free unit I haven't talked about is Serval. If you don't have much in the way of damage dealing options, she can be really strong as your second part in Pure Fiction, especially as most erudition units will be. They do best against groups of enemies rather than singular bosses. So like a hunt unit or single target like Ratio alongside erudition can really help you make up for not having high tier destruction units, or just in general make clearing general story content much faster. Most bosses will spawn various trash mobs that your single target Dr. Ratio or other hunt unit will not have fun dealing with. We'll get into wishes now. Should you pull for Black Swan? No. Should you pull for Dan Hang? No. Let me amend that statement. You can pull for Black Swan if you started in 1.6 or earlier. You have Kafka and or Ron May. Well, I wouldn't pull Black Swan if you don't have Kafka. Just Ron May and Black Swan, it's still questionable. I'd keep saving for Sparkle. She's going to be crazy. Nothing really particularly synergistic with Black Swan coming out anytime soon, so you'd just be waiting on a Kafka rerun anyways. If you want to do that, if she's your waifu, whatever, pull obviously, but in terms of recommendations for the best thing you can do for your account, I would advise not investing in the Black Swan. And this Dan Hang, again, if he's like your husbando, whatever, but the reality is you have Dr. Ratio for free as of right now, and they more or less fill the same exact role. Whereas Sparkle's going to come out, she's going to be incredibly good for any damage dealing units you have built up. You get a free QQ, she's really good, but she only gets really, really good at her E6, so you can build her early on and keep waiting for her E6. She's going to be on right up on Sparkle's banner. I'd say just don't pull Dan Hung. Unless you really want him, and don't pull Black Swan unless you have Kafka. I'd say maybe if you're at 0 pity, you can give this banner about 30 pulls and try to get some Ting Yun copies. Ting Yun's still one of the game's best support units. You'll want her. I don't know when she's going to be on raid up next, but nothing in the next few patches is really going to benefit Black Swan specifically. Not Sparkle especially, not Aventurine really. Now, Black Swan will fill the Nihility requirement for Acheron. For that reason, she might be a decent pull. She does apply debuffs, which is required for Acheron's kit. So if you're really hoping to pull Acheron, Black Swan might be a safe option, but I feel like things specifically for Acheron are going to come out soon after her release. Now, in the interest of preventing information overload, I'm going to end that one here.